Hey, Trendsetters, we're back with some dynamic guests, man. This summer was phenomenal to say the least. You know, that's my word, but really and truly, I had a ball this summer. We rolled out Trendsetters Next Gen Internship. And I'm going to give you guys a little back end story on that before we jump in with our guests. Trendsetters Next Gen Internship was the future of trendsetters. It was the future trendsetters. You know, we started a program with some dynamic mentors and we poured into the youth. It started off with some really elite college students, and they came in like a force. They blew my mind, understanding, and I had to take it back. You know, I was talking with some of the mentors that I had on the project, and I said, you know, what is it that we really trying to get out of this? Who are we really trying to serve? And when you got a background that's already established and already going in an accelerated focus, I know that we originally intended to give these college kids, you know, a place where they can sharpen their skills and do things like that. But then we had to look at things like, what about those kids that didn't get into SYEP or didn't get into those programs and didn't have anything to do for the summer? What would they do? Well, what are they doing? Right? Y'all gotta excuse me. I'm in too hot Texas. I'm sweating, y'all. I'm sweating. So, what are these kids doing for the summer? What can we do to get them off the streets and to become more productive? So I started focusing on them, those that didn't make the cut for SYEP, those that didn't get into programs, those that really didn't have anything to do, and those that didn't have much skills to help them to think about avenues of career or education. And we got a group, we had a nice group, what, 10 to 15 kids, you know, and we did some dynamic things with these kids. I wanted to bring some of the people that were a part of this. Phil, Ben, Ty Cutler, and Robin are here with us. And in the next couple of shows, we're going to talk to Terrell and some other people, the judges that were on board with this. But thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for everything that you did. And thank you guys for your constant support. Phil, you here with us? What's going on? You reading? You know, thank you so much, you guys, for being a part of this. And, you know, I couldn't do it without you. I couldn't do it without you. Thank you guys so much. So, first up, I want to introduce Robin Graham. Robin stayed with the kids and spoon fed them and nurtured them and loved on them and worked with them to build out a magazine, Trendsetters Talk Next Gen Summer 2025 magazine. So thank you so much, Robin, for working with the kids and putting up with all their drama.
No, I didn't. I don't think they had drama. I actually enjoyed that experience because it's been a while, about 4 years since I've been around young folks. I
Oh,
worked for the school board of ed for 20 years, so I was always around kids for my career. But I've been retired for 4 years, so this was a pleasure to be around them and to get their perspective and to be in their space and meet them where they are. It is so important for us to meet them where they are and not put our expectations on them, but to allow them to grow with us, not, force it. Like you said, you can't force them
yes.
you can lead them, but you can't force them to drink, but let them feel it out and see how they feel about coming in. And I was surprised by their engagement to have them actually read a couple of the articles and get feedback and ask the questions. One of my favorite questions was I afraid to work with the incarcerated community? And I explained, no, because there's a level of respect if you tell them this is a business
Mhm,
and you
mhm.
get that mindset right set with the incarcerated community, that they're dealing with somebody that's going to treat them with respect, then you
Mhm.
get that respect back. So there's nowhere to find any fear in a relationship like that. So that was a great question. And again, I like that they were engaged. And I also appreciate you, Heidi, for taking me out of my comfort zone. Somebody that's been retired and hadn't been around kids younger than my children, and giving me that space to see what our youth has to offer. And they do have a lot to offer. They just need a little coaxing, a little encouragement, and confidence.
We built out this program as a youth leadership program, right? So they did everything on their own. We just make sure that they didn't fall off course, right? And kept them right on target. But they did it on their own, like you said, Robin. And it was
Yeah.
really fascinating to see where they started from where they ended. You can see the growth. Ty, Phil, every one of you guys really had uh, placed something seeds inside of these kids, and they'll take it into their tomorrows, and it's going to be dynamic to see them when, because they're all like, oh, we're coming back, we're coming back, we're coming back. As soon as they see it, everybody's going to be like, oh yeah, they're coming back. So we know that they'll be back, and it's going to, and maybe they in turn will turn around and be us.
Mm-hmm.
This whole thing is about the next generation, and teaching them that to respect and love themselves and honor themselves and trust themselves, and that they are the future leaders. So we just have to give them a chance for them to understand how valuable that they are. And that's one of the things that you did with, working with them, Robin. And I thank you again. I thank you again.
You're welcome.
Um, Phil,
Yep.
see you in your car. See you in your car. This is Philip Ben, you guys. Financial strategist, music. We can go on and on and on talking about Phil and all his accolades. Phil,
Y-
talk to us.
Yes. I had an amazing time. I truly did. Um, and it was kind of like a fulfillment of a dream, to work with the younger people and just give them some information to point them in a direction, and that I know it will keep them in that direction, you know, understanding how money works, and real estate, and why you're going to school to get
Mm.
a degree. you know it's to buy real estate. That's the key. I made it plain to them that all the celebrities that they admire so much, their end game is what type of a mansion they live in, and so for them to stay focused, to get their own mansion. And that was the key, what I imparted with them. And
You know, I think it was a little bit more, Phil, because a lot of the feedback that I got from them was you opened their eyes to thinking differently about money management.
hmm
And a lot of them, they took pictures of some notes that they were taking on things that you were saying to them about even investments and different types of investment sources that they have out there. So it was really important for them to understand key things,
hmm
as especially being so young. So this is how you get their minds on track on seeing certain things. And I have to thank you about that. Like I said, it was a financial literacy a sick portion of the program, and you provided it to them, and they walked away with some really, oh, this makes sense. A lot of them weren't even thinking about home ownership,
hmm
right? Because for whatever reason, maybe they felt it was out of their grasp or something like that. But the way that you explained it, from what I understand, is that you made it seem attainable. And that's very, very, very important,
Yes.
especially for the younger generation. And even if not, I understand that you talked about options like condos and other, types of investments that they can get into. So yeah, so it was great. It was great. Thank you so much. And we look forward to having you guys again, again, again. And we save it. We're gonna come back around to you guys. We saved Ty Cutner. Ty Cutner, you blew these kids away, Ty. You blew these kids away. Thank you so much, Ty, for showing up and showing out. Showing out. First thing they had to talk about was this guy, he glows, he glows, he glows. He came in there all dressed, he glows, and they were really impressed with you just before you even opened your mouth. They were curious about who Ty was. So Ty, come on, tell me, who's Ty? Who's Ty Cat?
Well, so I'm the man on a mission to heal the world.
That's what you do.
10 to
That's
15
right.
years, there will be no wars, crime, racism,
Mhm.
everything of the past, right? Now, when I came, I went to the wrong library. So I
Yes.
came late the first time because when Heidi showed, it was a little mix up with where we were going to go. And Heidi called me the day before and she gave me the where I'm going to be, but I was in the car driving and other stuff happened on. She said, I was like, what did she say? It was where? It started with a K, didn't it? Or was it a C? That's what my part's like. So I'm like, I'm all the way in like somewhere else, right? In Kensington, I think, library instead of
Yeah.
Cayman Plaza. So I'm waiting,
Oh,
like, where are they? I don't see anybody. I'm trying to call Heidi. She didn't get back until
Cause they
we
like,
did this
where's
like
the
half an
guy?
hour, 45 minutes. So then when I found out I was in the wrong place, I went to them and I was like, I apologize, y'all. They was there waiting for me. So, but
He
luckily,
bribed them. He bought them pizza, y'all.
I
He
bought
bought
them
them
pizza. Yeah. It
pizza.
was like I had to give them something, you know what I mean? Having them waiting
Yeah,
like that.
definitely,
You know what I
definitely.
mean? So, but we had a good time. I wanted to make sure, like when it comes to young people, I want to make sure that they realize there's somebody that's there for them. You know what I mean? Somebody that's going to have their back, somebody that's thinking about them, care about them, supporting them. And the person isn't necessarily doing it because they're getting paid or it's their job.
right.
You know what I mean? And so I wanted to make sure that I was giving them that. And I came in and I give them game. That's what I do. I give the kids game because I feel like I wish I remember every single time somebody came and pulled me aside and say, "Hey, Tyrone, you should be doing so and so. You should be doing that." All right, I'll take that, and I appreciate you giving me that advice. So that's the type of person I want to be for young people because I feel like I'm in the future, right? I'm in the future, and if I can give some wisdom back from the future to them to help them navigate better, I'm going to do that. And so it was just great being around them, getting their questions, and just really getting to know them. So I just pop up on them. I was
Yeah,
like, hey, I'm just
yeah.
gonna stop in. This where they at right now. Where they at today? Okay, I'll be there. Let me check out what they're learning.
Yeah, that's what Ty was doing. He'll hit me a text where the kids at, or I'll tell him, look, this is where they at, go pop in on them over there, or this is what they're getting ready to do. Make sure that they ready when they interviewing these folks. And he definitely did. He showed up. And he stuck around, from what I understand, he was just hanging out with them, and that was very important to make your presence known to them and to let them know that, hey, you're there, regardless of what, if it's just to hang out with them, shoot the breeze, or just to keep them empowered. That's definitely and encouraged. That's definitely what you did for them. And I appreciate that, so, so, so much. Each and every one of you guys gave them, jewels, for the next generation, because when they talk to their friends or when they talk to their parents or when they talking, or even when, people are reading the magazine, they're like, wow, they did so much with those kids. You guys did the do with those kids, y'all. Y'all did the do with these kids. I'm so excited about, what we're going to do next with them, and again, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your efforts, and you right, Ty and Robin. It's not about the money. It's about the give back and what we can turn around and do for these kids. I say it all the time. They don't have to make the same mistakes we made,
Hmm.
right? If we
Right.
knew them already, we could tell them how to get there without all of the drama, without all of the, without all of the bumps and bruises. They don't have to learn some of those lessons were unnecessary if we were given the right tools.
Yeah.
We could have used them. But we had to build tools. We were cavemen trying to figure things out, right?
Mhm.
Sparking fires. These kids got lighters. Give them the lighter. Give them the lighter. And that's what each and every one of you did. Each and every one of you did. I didn't want to keep you guys too long because I know that you guys are all busy. Phil, what thoughts roll around your head when you think about Trendsetters Next Gen?
Well, I know we have a template. I mean, we started out without a template for working with the next gen this summer. So I know we know everybody knows exactly what needs to be done next year.
Well, we're talking about I guess you're talking about curriculum and making things better, right?
So education.
Yeah. So I guess you're talking about making it better, but I was just talking about in general, like, when we moving on to we learned a lot. This was a learning experience, most definitely. I like the fact that it was rolled out in a way that they were telling us what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
If we followed their lead. I know Robin had to sit back from being the mother hen, sometimes to really listen and pay attention to their thoughts and their ideas and their visions and, helping it to manifest. Phil, as far as keeping that into perspective, what kind of ideas, what's one idea or one takeaway that you got from this whole thing?
I think I think the key thing is that the the kids they're just sharp, and we just don't give them enough credit for being sharp. And all we just have to do is just pull out what's already inside of them. They get a lot of garbage out there, and they regurgitate garbage. But when you give them something that they understand is valuable, they just run with it.
They run with it. They run with it. It's amazing. And you know what else was amazing to me, Phil? How ready they are.
Mm-hmm.
How ready. They ready for the right information. They like hungry. They hungry for the good
Yeah.
stuff. They
Yes.
they so tired of all of the toxicity and all of the bad stuff and all of the drama and all of that. They ready for some solid foundation. They ready for the good stuff. And I think that that's why this program rolled out and did so well, because each and every one of y'all got the good stuff.
Yeah.
Y'all holding a bag of good stuff. Y'all was coming in giving out goodies and 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 that's what it was. That's how they took it. Ty, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, when I was showing up for them, I was like, this is going to be the beginning of something bigger. That's the reason why it wasn't so important for me necessarily to give them a workshop every time I seen them.
Right.
It was like really about building a relationship with them because I had plans for them. Like when I meet people, I can already see where they can be, where they can go. I always see the best in people. And because I'm a coach, I develop people and I can see sparks in
Yeah.
individuals. And so I knew, okay, this person's good for that they're good for that. I really enjoy the fact that they were showing up, they was attentive,
Independently.
yeah,
Yeah.
On
right,
their own, on time. They were showing
right.
up. I'm like, wow. And they were ready. They were setting up project. They was doing their thing.
hmm
Okay, y'all, okay. So I was really, really, really impressed with even on Saturday. Phil met them on Saturday. They even got there on a Saturday, and and they just finished the soil testing, so I know that they were exhausted. because she really, really, really flooded those kids that Friday. And then they went out to see Phil on Saturday, and they was there on time, ready, ready to do their thing. And that was really impressive. So you're right about that, Ty. They showed up.
I also like how they was connecting to each other, and that's important for me too. Like on this mission for me to heal the world, young people are going to be the people that's going to help me with this mission. And for me, like my goal is to create pathways for them that aren't where they can get compensated in a way where they wouldn't be able to get compensated because of they don't have the skill, they didn't develop the skill, they don't have the degree, they don't have the experience. But we're born with experience, we're born with skills, we're born with talents, and that's what the world needs more of. Right. And that's not necessarily taught in school. Like compassion is more what the world needs, but there's no compassion class. There's no compassion degree. That's what the world needs. And that's very valuable, and my pathway is going to make that right. They can capitalize on that. And so when I see them connecting with each other, when I see them showing up, when I see how they respond to me, when I see how they respond to Terrell, I was like, okay, I like this group. I like what we're doing here. I can see this being pretty big, and I'm all for it.
One of the things that you mentioned that was really important was how they work together collaboratively. First, I think it was first or second day, right off the bat, I let them know, all hands on deck, everybody, each one teach one. We not leaving nobody behind, right? We was like the Marines. We gonna carry on our back. We gonna lift them up. We gonna empower one another and encourage one another. And they just held on to that. Really, it didn't matter what race, what creed, what culture. Everybody was just, this is us, y'all. We the trendsetters, we next gen, and we got to do this. And I think what was important to them, Ty, and you guys, was somebody actually gave them a chance.
Yeah.
They were so surprised, like, we get to us, we choosing what we're doing. I said, yeah, you're gonna choose what you want to do, and we mapped it out, and y'all figure it out. And they were like, our voices, you want to hear our voices? And you're giving us. I said, yep, I'm passing the torch to y'all. Y'all get the microphones next time around. I'm out of it. This is for y'all. And when they realized that it was no smoke screen, that it was real, and this was really on them, they took charge in a way that it really, really, they fumbled their way through and stepped up, and it was magic. It was magic, Robin. It was magic.
Yes.
It was magic.
And I agree with Phil. I think they are hungry for reality.
Yes.
And they're tired of the same old, the TikTok and the distractions and the what the people are doing in music and things like that. They're hungry for the real, and they may not be getting it in their community. And then to come to a summer program with just 6 weeks and you're getting the real stuff, real people who are not the superstars you clicking and flipping to see, but real people doing those real things, the hard work, and showing you their progress. And that where you could actually reach out and touch them. You're not going to reach out and touch LeBron right now, but you got people in your community that you probably overlooked because you couldn't see them with all the other bling. And then here they are right in front of you, and you're like, wow, these are people I could touch. These are people I could ask those hard questions to. These are people that are real and telling me the real thing and in the language that I understand. So, yeah, they're hungry for that. And they're not seeing it in their communities. And for them to get all that they got in that 6 weeks, that must have blew their mind.
Yeah.
That must have blown their mind.
Yeah. Yeah. 6 weeks was crazy. I mean, I'm telling you, I know that amazing. The last Zoom, the last day, I'm getting texts. I'm not coming on. I don't want to say goodbye.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh my goodness, like they weren't ready. I'm tearing
And
up now. I'm tearing up now.
Mhm.
They weren't ready. Like I said, it just came to such a immediate pull. That was it. It was done.
the last assignment I gave them, that's something to think about, asking their parents, what were their dreams? I
Yes.
wonder if they did that.
You
I would
know,
love to have gotten the feedback.
on what we're going to do is have them communicate that with you directly, because a lot of them are still working on some of those things, and it did open up additional conversations, deeper conversations
That's what it was meant to do.
that
Because if your
with their
parent sees that
parents
you
that they
care,
even think
yeah,
about,
right,
you know.
that you're asking, Mom, what did you want to be? What was your dreams? What were your goals? Do you still want them?
Mm.
Right. And even with, and in taking that in mind, I'm still, you guys know that I had to, come out to Texas because of my mom. And I'm having those conversations, those type of conversations. And I'm learning a lot about her parents and her grandparents. There's conversations that we never had before. And I'm like, get out of here. But that started with, conversations that you had with the kids,
Mm.
Yep,
and I'm like, wow, this was so dynamic in so many different ways. I know that the kids got to learn and see so many people, as you said, Robin, in a different light. This is one of the things that Trendsetters Talk was about, to highlight all the people in the community that's doing positive and great things, and to get rid of all of this distraction. There are some wonderful, dynamic, powerful people that are key players in our community. So if we
right.
just clear the way so that you guys can walk through and people could take notice, this is what Trendsetters Talks is really about. This is, and
Yeah,
and the next gen. Now we see the next gen, right? Next gen Trendsetter is going to be walking in rooms. We had some that couldn't even talk, Robin. You remember they was wait. They just wanted to say it and get it over with. You couldn't even understand
yeah, yeah,
anything. After they left there, they would look at, some of the videos. You'd be surprised, some of the videos, ones that was behind their hoods, they still got the hoods on, but they peeled them back a little bit. You saw them. They took their time and they did the best that they could. And it was like, wow, I would have never expected that from that person.
yeah,
I would have never expected that from that person. And what I love the most is that you see the authenticity. They didn't get dressed up. They didn't put on no makeup. They
right.
didn't do their hair. Some of them had do-rags on. Some of them had their bonnets on. I loved it. And they talked about their experience. So it cleared the way for other people to see deeper beyond what they see.
Yes,
And I think that that's what we all did. We saw these kids walking one way, and then we saw right through. Like Phil said, they so ready.
yeah. And
So
I always said to them, don't just pass people by. Take a look at everything around you. You may be passing somebody that's a superstar right in front of you, but you don't see them because you just like, I don't see anybody. I'm just going. We're
Mhm.
right here. The thing is that we're right here in front of them. And they'll pass on us on the street and not even think to say hi,
well,
who are you
one of the things is
or
this,
anything.
right? This phone. This program was about putting that phone down,
Hmm.
right? Put that phone down. Let's slow down for a minute. Put that phone down. And let's not be so distracted, because y'all are missing out on little fine details, right? So we
Yeah.
put the phone down, and that's when they started talking to one another.
Mhm.
Because they first walked in with their phones. I was like, this that type of show. Y'all gotta put the phone down. I said, Miss Robin gonna take those phones away. Remember Miss Robin?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And she was in the background going, I'm not going to take your phone. I'm not going to take it.
No, I wanted this
No,
the
no,
first
no. I
time
get it.
they
I
wanted to
get
be
it.
able to, they had to be able to say, wait a minute, what she say? Put that
Self
phone down. What, wait, she say?
self-control,
Yeah,
self-discipline. And that
yeah,
was another skill that we taught them. Self-discipline. They learned time management because they had to get there on time. They had to get their work in on. They had different things that they had to do. So it definitely was a skill building opportunity, you know. Thank you guys again. Ty, any last words before we jump off?
Well, I got big plans for these young people in general, but especially these young people in Trendsetters. And so we're going to be hearing a lot more from me about that.
Yeah, you're not leaving. You're not leaving. You're
Nah,
not
we
leaving. You're
just
not
getting
leaving.
started.
This we just getting started. We just getting started. And we are, you know, we are in New York, we are in New Jersey, and now in Texas. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So, you know, we are all the collaborators that were a part of this. We are talking about how to get this thing, you know, as Ty said, we all on this to heal the world and heal these kids and, you know, really make a difference and make our impact, you know, make impact. And that's what it's about. It's about changing the narratives in the Black and brown communities and just getting us to a different mindset globally.
Yeah.
You know, that we're better together, right?
absolutely.
We're better together. We're better together. We're better together. And these kids are our future. So we got to start pouring into them, y'all. We got to start looking at ourselves. It's a self-reflective time, right? I'm sure that every one of us had a time that we, you know, working with these kids, we had to stop and think of, you know, the next time we get with these kids, this is what I want. Or the next time I get together with these kids, this, and it helped us to grow and improve not only them, but ourselves as well. Right. So thank you all. Phil, any last words?
I'm ready for the next one.
Yeah, Phil's ready. We all ready. We all ready. And they're ready for us. And that's what makes this thing so beautiful. So beautiful. Robin, thank you.
You're
Phil,
welcome.
thank you. Ty, I love you, my brother. I love you guys. Thank you guys all so much. We, you know, we in this. We in this for the long run. Let's just we gonna take this. We gonna take this. We gonna take this and run with it. Trendsetters Next Gen and Trendsetters. We out, y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. And great job, great job, great. We did it, we did it, we did it. And the kids loved us for it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.